Happy Talk It Up Tuesday. Welcome to the show. This is Michael Damon here from We Merge Media on behalf of Be Well Magazine, and I'm in the studio today with Amani Ray. Amani, how are you today?
What's up, y'all? I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Thanks for having
Awesome. So as y'all can see, Amani is full of energy today. She brought it today.
me. Y'all got a whole new energy this week.
Nice. So today's topic, everybody, we're going to talk about why do we work, and we're going to go a little deep into this topic. We have 30 minutes here with you tonight, but Amani and I have been talking about a couple things, sharing videos back and forth, and one of the videos that we were discussing and sharing really touched on some stuff that we both really resonated with. And like always, when we come across something like that, we feel like it's extremely important to bring it here with you to the show. So this is Talk It Up Tuesday. Every Tuesday we go live to talk about entrepreneurship, share things that are on our minds, and want to hear from you as the viewers and business owners out there about what's on your mind. We do a number of things during the show. We bring a topic to the table, but we also have an opportunity for you in the audience to join us. So if you want to join in the conversation, we will make sure that we get a link to the studio. If you want to come on camera with us and share some of your advice and some of your tips, you can do so. We'll give you a way to do that. If you know one of us personally, go ahead and text or inbox us, and we will get that link for you. For those of you who are watching, please let us know that our love button and our like buttons and our subscribe buttons and share buttons and all that good stuff work. You can help us test it out by giving it a click and sharing it, liking it, subscribing wherever you are watching. So let's go ahead and get into our topic and get started. So I'm going to kick it off because I kind of pitched this idea to Amani about how we can kind of frame this subject. And one of the things that stood out to me from the video that we were watching, and Amani, I forgot I ain't gonna say I forgot exactly his name, but we can share that in the comments or something if we want to. But one of the things that stood out was that we're talking about running a one person business and what that might look like, and how you, as a one person business, don't have to do what everybody else does, and what can you do operating that business and kind of like structuring your content that really just resonates with you and resonates with people that you want to reach. Amani took notes, so she has much better notes than I do, but I'm not going to tell you to detail them all. But what I took away from the conversation was that all of us have something that's a unique experience to us along our entrepreneurial journey. And that put me in the mindset of like, why do we do the stuff that we do? Like, why do you have the business that you have? What are you looking to achieve through this business? What is the ultimate goal in all of this? And one of the things that he said is that you can be a one person business if you really build your business around your own personal life experiences and stories, your problems, and what solutions you've created to be able to solve those problems. Because there's going to be other people out there like you who have the same issues and want a faster way to be able to solve those problems. Is that what you got out of it, Amani? Am I missing anything? Oh, you're muted. Are you muted? Yeah, you are.
Sorry, yeah, you hit the nail on the head. I'm definitely that's the sum of what I got from it for sure. For sure.
Okay.
And even someone who operates a business that isn't a one person business, but I'm operating it as if it is, it helped me to not feel guilty about not desiring to have a team. Well, I'm not gonna say I haven't desired it. I've desired it because I felt like I had to, like, but because I needed to function with the team in order to have a sustainable business. But listening to him made me understand how possible it is to operate my business as a one person business, and kind of scale from there, like really master it as a one person business. You know what I'm saying? So I got a
Mhm.
lot of what you said out of the video as well.
Yeah, so when you think about like why would y'all be talking about this and why is this important? Because everything out there talks about building a multi-million dollar company and scaling up and doing all this other stuff. And some people have that dream and that vision, but not everybody does. And I think that to put that as the level of achievement of success of like this is the only business that matters when you build this type of business ain't good for everybody. Because I know for a long time it wasn't good for me. Like I'm happy running my small business, keep getting the time freedom that I got to do the stuff I want to do. like I never had a desire to have like a huge company with like hundreds of people and all that other stuff. But I did try to sell myself on it because it's like, how is that selfish of me to not want to take all that on? Um, like, is there something that I'm doing, a disservices that I'm doing to people by not making that my goal? So like I struggled with that for a long time. And when you talked about that, you kind of thought about that too. It's like, yeah, you need help and you want some core people around you because it's always cool to have core people around you. There's an energy exchange that takes place. But does that have to be the only way you can consider your business a success by building something that massive? What are
Mm,
your thoughts on that?
I, I, if you asked me that question before we seen this video, it probably would have been different. But watching the video, I was up all night, y'all, like taking notes in my sleep, dang near, as I was watching the video. And but I also don't think that everybody will consume the video the way Michael and I did, because it really, and I think that's why he's not at a million views yet, because that information isn't easily consumable by the average person. You really have to be on that path that he's talking about to really get it. And
That's
so
valid.
when I think about success now as a result of tuning into his content, because I've been on a binge the last day or so after watching his one of his videos, I think that my perspective is more of an individualized thing. I mean, I've always felt like success was like whatever you want it to be, like whatever success looks like for you, that's success. But
Mhm.
now for myself, when I define my success different, I design my standard and expectation of success differently. And it doesn't look like an amount of money. It doesn't look like working hard as an entrepreneur. It literally looks like that 4 hour workday that he talked about. Like it
Mhm.
really like that if I feel like it, like kind of thing. Like
Right.
really getting clear on what you enjoy doing and mastering that and offering that to your audience, to me that's success. Like if
Yeah.
I can get clear on what it is that I'm doing and do that thing, to me that's success. And no desire to build a large company or even a brick and mortar space for my company. Like it's really now just kind of documenting the journey based on the things I've been able to learn. I've already kind of gotten glimpses of what he was teaching, but he laid it out in such a practical way that I don't have no choice but to take what I have learned and implement
Mhm.
it in my life. Like those are the type of things that I appreciate tuning into as far as watching or reading, things that I can like learn practical tools from it and implement it right away. You know,
Yeah.
listen to motivational videos and stuff all day. And I listen to Les Brown, ET, all of them. A lot of them say the same stuff, and I love them. Don't get me wrong, that's no shade. Not like they tuning in and watching this right now, but
It gets repetitive, right?
it gets very repetitive. And he gave me something new. Although it may have been around a topic I'm familiar with, the way he delivered it was new and very, very practical. And when I think about the success I'm reaching or moving towards, that video is going to be a pivotal part of my growth story because
Nice.
man, it hit different.
hmm So one of the things I wanted to do is bring up on the screen real quick, just to kind of give you some background as to why we titled this the way that we did, is why we work. What that phrase means to me, it was a moment for me to kind of check myself and think about like, why do we do all the things that we do? Why are you interested in getting clients? Why do you need to have a presence on social media, build a brand? Like, what's the purpose of all of this? And when I stopped to think about that, I thought about this because this was one of those pivotal moments for me when I became aware of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And at the time that I did it, I came into it probably about only 3 years ago that I became aware of this. And looking at it at the point that I was in, I was able to reflect backwards and I was able to kind of look at where I was and where I was heading. And I had realized like a lot of the challenges and the struggles that I had prior to that moment when I saw this were due to the fact that my safety needs weren't met. So I was in a state of building a business where I still was concerned about consistency with income, being able to pay bills on time, leaving employment behind and kind of taking this risk to build business. Like I was struggling with that. And at the same time, while going through the middle of that, trying to figure out, like, why can't I achieve these other things? Why can't I achieve love and belonging and esteem and self-actualization to kind of reach the pinnacle of, like the greatness that I wanted? But it was because I was still struggling down here at the bottom of the pyramid, with the safety needs. So what this chart shows is just like there's certain things that you need in order to reach to the higher level. And if you're still dealing with like insecurity with air, food, water, you think about people who are in places of the world where they're not sitting there thinking about how to achieve a new level of alignment. If you got to worry about shelter over, a roof over your head, and where to get water and food and all that, so it just kind of put all that stuff in perspective. And like right now, I'm teetering between like the esteem and the self actualization. And when I think about the work that I do and why I do the work that I do, it's not because I'm motivated to get 20,000, 50,000 million people following me and watching. Like, that's not the motivation. For me, the motivation is to be able to take what I've experienced in life and use that information to help other people achieve a level of freedom that they might want. So I think about myself when I was working and not happy in that structure of working, making a living that way. And I wanted out, I was looking for a way out. And I'm like, how do I get out of this and still be able to maintain myself? That's where entrepreneurship kicked in for me. And that's what kind of set me off on the journey. So the stuff that I do, people look at me and say, oh, you're a graphic designer, you're a web designer, you're a marketing consultant. I can do all those things. Those are skills and those are tips and techniques and stuff that I've amassed to achieve time freedom, to achieve financial freedom. That's the reason why I do it. So it's not that I'm trying to be the best graphic designer, the best marketing consultant. I'm trying to help people who are where I was get to where they want to be and get higher up on the on the chart of self actualization. What about you, Amani? Have you experienced this chart before?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I think I was introduced to it in high school for sure. But college, I think it was a psychology class where I was able to learn a little bit more in depth about it. But it also really reminds me of the spices because the spices really cover our basic needs. It's a very similar methodology around like, are your basic needs being met? And if not, how is that impacting the way you engage with other humans? It's more that social emotional like learning and how to cope with the happenings of life and what needs to happen on a daily basis regardless of those things that are happening in life. You know what I'm saying? So I got a chance to work with the students I was facilitating workshops for at a previous job, and I was teaching them about the spices and just hearing their dialogue around how they show up in the world based on what's going on in their life. I think those the Maslow's hierarchy of needs and the spices really go hand in hand. And I have known about these things in the back of my head, but I haven't really put them into perspective of how that impacts the life of an entrepreneur. Like what does that mean? Because I'm constantly in this gotta get it, gotta get it mindset. And like it's impossible for me to operate off of like how much money can I make today. Like I just no matter how hard I try as an entrepreneur trying to figure out like okay how much do I need to make to pay this bill or do this thing, like I'm not motivated by money. It's really, really about like who can I impact today? What conversations can I be a part of? What gems can I drop? What support can I provide? It's really about those connections. And I know we were talking earlier, and I got a chance to really define what it is that I'm passionate about through our conversation earlier.
Mm-hmm.
And being able to communicate what I'm passionate about as well. Um, and so when I think about those things, it's like when money isn't the motivation, but you need money to survive, what do you do? You know?
Right.
So it definitely, and that's that the answer to that question is in the video that not even just the video, his content in general. He really,
True.
really highlights how you can go from, you know, not even that, because he doesn't. It's not even about your business solving a problem or an idea. It's really about where are you in your life and how can you package that journey? How can you um productize yourself. That's literally what the video is called. How do you productize yourself and like literally help people understand what it is that you are either currently going through or had to go through to get where you are or where you're going to how do you help them get there faster? And so I took a bunch of the questions that I asked myself as a result of watching that video, and I put that on my Facebook page today. And I was surprised by how many people was going to each question and answering the questions. Business owners that I really look up to, the way they engaged in those questions really made me excited because I'm like, I'm not the only one thinking of these, thinking deeply about these things, or I'm not the only one that's trying to figure out what is in my way. You know what I'm saying? How am I helping my customers? Am I understanding my personal journey enough to genuinely impact people? Because I know some people that's so focused on the business aspect of it and they don't include no part of their identity in what they're doing. And some it works for some people. That's what those are the people that's building companies and building things that is completely detached from what how they exist in their human life. And I think that that's fine. But for me, and understanding where I want to go on my journey, I am so ready to go deeper within myself so that my business is ready to go to the next level. Because I am my business. Like I never understood the I am my business thing as much as I do now.
Yeah, and it's one of those things that, like, depending on who you talk to, people will have you feeling like that's a wrong approach.
Yep.
And
Yep.
I've had to deal with that a lot of times, and it's like that's where the whole idea of a lifestyle business comes from.
Mm,
It's just like different people want to build different business types and operate in different ways. And I think like that's the whole point of individual personal experiences. Like the one thing that we all have that's unique is our own life journey and our experiences, and how we use that is really up to us. And you end up doing yourself a disservice where you try to take your approach to everything to mimic what somebody else did. Like they're doing what they were supposed to do. Now you have to find your way and find craft your own way and do it in a way that works for you.
absolutely.
But there are always people out there who are going to relate to some of those experiences that you had. Who like, I like your vibe. I like the way that you speak about things, and I want to work with you, regardless of how many followers you have and all that other stuff. On the screen, I wanted to just kind of point out Carmen's listening in, and Imani talked about the spices of life, and she's just kind of breaking down the spices. So spices are it's an acronym. I'm going to read it here for you. You can see it on the screen. S being your spiritual needs, P being your physical needs, I being about impact, like how you're making an impact in the world. C is for creativity. What's your creative approach to your work? E is for your emotional needs, and S is for your social needs. So that's something that in Be Well, they present at the Be Well retreats. There's one in January coming up in Arizona. There's one in Milwaukee coming up in April. And everyone who attends those retreats gets exposed to that idea so they can really kind of assess themselves to figure out, like, where am I on this chart? What do I need to fill in so that you can start really doing the work that's important for you to be able to do. So it's just real important. This video made us stop kind of everything and be like, hold on, let's kind of reframe everything that we're doing and what we're talking about, and check ourselves really. I felt like it was a time to kind of check myself and see, am I on my journey, or am I trying to achieve success by following somebody else's journey and experience?
Mm. Am I trying to achieve success by following somebody else's journey? I feel like that's what I've been doing over the past how many years in business I've been in.
Mm-hmm.
And not intentionally. It's easy to follow these leaders and people who are doing what you want to do and think that that's how you got to do it. But when you
Right.
get that self actualization, which we kind of have talked about throughout the day today, like once you kind of figure out you a little bit more,
Mhm.
it's easier to hear people's message and figure out where it fits into your life without trying to become that message, become what you're
Right.
so yeah, I love that.
Get what you need from it.
Hmm.
So, audience, we want to hear from you. Let us know what's motivating you. What's your bigger purpose in all of this, and what are some of the things that you need to clear out to get out of your way so that you can achieve like that higher version of yourself. That's what we're talking about today on Talk It Up Tuesday, because that ultimately is the reason why you get up every day to do the things that you do. A lot of time people feel like, I get up to work because I need to take care of my family and I need to pay bills and I need to do that stuff. And, that's kind of where it begins because that goes right back to what we were talking about earlier. Yeah, because you need your psychological needs and your safety needs. You need to know that those things are secure. But it's going to come a point in your life where those things are there. And then you're going to start to ask yourself, well, what else do I want from life? And a lot of people that I work with as clients have reached that level where they're kind of like, okay, I've done this, but now what? So that part right there is where you start going into this higher level of the hierarchy. How do you get to the point where you're stable enough to be emotionally available for love and finding the right partner? People want to know, like, oh, I can't find the right person and this and that. We're like, where are you internally on that journey with yourself?
Mm,
Because you might end up mismatched. I think that's where a lot of mismatches come from, though. You
that's a
know,
whole conversation.
that's a whole nother show, right? But I couldn't find that until I got through all that other stuff, and I was just like, "Holy crap! It changed everything."
Game
Um, Game changer, I'm telling you, game, and you find that it's easier to pick a partner when you start getting there. You know what I mean? Like when
changer.
you've done that work to get through that. So we want to know, like, for people who are out there, what where are you on your journey? Like, what's motivating you? What's in your way? Because that's another thing. When we hear on Talk It Up Tuesday, we want to know, like, how can we help those of you who are watching this show start reaching higher towards self actualization, attaining your personal level of greatness? Like, we have this opportunity to get together with other people who are through entrepreneurship on a journey. And, I know I learned a lot from just other people's story, other people sharing their experiences, talking about like what they've encountered and just being open about that. And the more I think people do that, the more people can be helped, the more people can find the courage and the confidence that they need to pursue their own. Let's just take a look real quick. Thank you all for those of you who are here. Bo Jacobs watching on YouTube. Good evening. Thank you for tuning in. We have Carmen Ray always here supporting and showing love for the show. Thank you for tuning in. Let's see. Devon D, the world is watching. Did you see my shirt? I got my shirt in the mail, by the way. So I saw this shirt when I was watching um, the Early Bird show, his morning show, and I saw an ad in the video and saw that, and I was like, oh, I got to get that. So commercials work, y'all. Commercials work. Let's see what we got here. Someone says self discovery. As my purpose makes room for me, definitely keeping the faith is essential. Gratitude, one of one. That's a good message. See, exactly. You're less likely to settle when your basic needs and self awareness is in place. Whew, the stuff you do when you trying to like be great and cover your basic needs,
Yes.
man. I done some stuff. I'm just like, dang, I was desperate. It's crazy. It's crazy. But it's all part of the journey. So don't think that it's unique. It's all part of the journey when you're doing that climb in. Carmen said, ooh, yeah, we all been down to the bottom of the barrel. I had plenty negotiations with We Energies back in the day in Wisconsin, trying to work to keeping my lights and stuff on. All part of the journey. So cool. Anything else you want to share, Amani? We have about 4 minutes left in the show. Anything you want to share?
No, nothing that I want to share. I'm just so in work mode. Like I'm ready to do the self work. I've been doing the labor
Mhm.
for a long time, and I'm ready to do. I'm ready to invest emotionally into myself and figuring out what I need. Um, because even just for example, the nap I took today, I'm like always avoiding naps and trying to power through the day, and it felt good to reset. And my brain is in a whole different space where I'm ready to get some things done. So I just really encourage the people for people who are tuning in and watching us to look within. Like a lot of the answers to the questions we have are internal. Like
Yes.
literally, a huge amount of those questions are questions you can answer from within. So
Yeah,
yeah.
that's very important. And I also want to let everyone know that A lot of times you're going to go through things, especially those of you who are starting businesses, that you're going to feel like no one can understand. And oftentimes, depending on your circle, your social circle, you are surrounded by people who can't understand and relate. But that's why it's so important to get yourself in the right rooms and around the right people who, when you're having those moments, can help you continue on. I say that because tomorrow we have our next Work With Me session.
Mhm.
And this is a free group that we created. Almost, I would say, Imani, like it's almost kind of becoming like an accountability group for me.
Yep.
A place to show up and be able to like carve out some time to kind of get quiet with myself, but then also be around other people. Um, we get together in a Zoom. We have these work blocks where we work for a set amount of time, then we take a break. Usually during the work block, everyone's muted, no one's talking, everybody's just kind of working on their own thing. We got some chill music going on in the background, and it's really, really been helpful for me to get some stuff off my list of stuff that I need to do, because it's like you show up, other people are there, and just some kind of energy, even though we're remote, gets created from that and keeps us going. So if you're looking for a group to belong to, you're looking for people who can help you stay motivated, help you continue on. Come on over to Bond to Build and join the space. Tomorrow's Work With Me session, I'm going to actually bring it up on the screen here. And I'll also put the link in the chat in the comments so that you can see that. But tomorrow is going to be from 12 o'clock until 4 o'clock. Ooh, I scheduled a long block. I must really plan on getting some stuff done. Tomorrow's going to be from 12 o'clock to 4 o'clock Mountain Standard Time. So for those of you who are on Central Time, that's 1 to 5 your time. We do have these all throughout the week. So you just have to join our space with Work With Me sessions and you'll get access to the calendar. We had a night session just the other day. So it all varies by different times of day, but go to bondtobuild.com, join the space, and then you can get access to meet with us there. So that's our show for today. Thank you all for tuning in. I hope that this show sparks some thought, gives you some motivation, and helps you continue achieving your own personal level of greatness and success. Thanks for tuning in for today.
All right.
Peace.